Hello, it is CJ Miller. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. Now I'm going to show you what I'm doing today, as far as like preparing, uh, preparing this chicken, getting it ready to fry. Now I've already dissevered the pieces. I've separated the legs from the thighs. In a bag like this, you'll come across every once in a while. You'll see that there's a broken bone in the thigh part of the leg part or something. I didn't have any broken leg pieces. I did find one piece where there was a broken um, thigh near where it connected to the leg. And basically, what I did was I just kind of went in there and just kind of cut around and removed that little bit of a bone. But it doesn't. It's not. It will not affect, because it was such a small piece. Uh, it will not affect the overall appearance. Um, Always wash hands in between. Look, when I finished cutting this chicken, and I used a clean part of my towel and I made sure to use a corner part of my towel that was clean in order to end the video. Um, but in general, you have your apron towel that you can use, or whatever. Uh, Never, when you're, never mistakenly like wash a plate or a dish or something that you're working with and grab it and just dry it off in there real quick. Always use like a separate towel for any sort of cleaning. This is basically just for keeping my hands free of moisture as I'm working, but it is a contaminated towel that I'm using right after the chicken with the same chicken. But I wash my hands and everything, and as I need to, I can wash and dry my hand real quick. But this towel, remember, it's not suitable for dishes. It's got to go right into your apron towel or something is not suitable to use for drying off your plates or your surfaces or anything like that. Okay, we'll start with the thigh. I'm going to use a spoon because I don't want to dip in and contaminate my chicken pieces. But take that and just sprinkle it right onto the piece of chicken. And then use my hands or whatever to pat it down with, and to get it good and well covered on this surface. And then kind of set it off to the side. This isn't like a flour where it's got to be like the flour you want your chicken to be covered all the way through. This is that piece of chicken that's right in here where that thigh bone was broken. And you can see that pocket. And I'm using just one hand to handle the chicken. That's the pocket where that bone came out of. But overall, you see it's not going to affect the way the chicken thigh looks. Some people, I know they do around in New Orleans and everything, they will cut away the little piece that connects to that back, that rib right there. But I never really worry too much about it. Let me come over here and wash my hand now. Even though I'm going to go right back into handling this chicken, I'm just really fond of every once in a while just keeping my hands clean as I work in a kitchen, especially with raw meats or something like that. Over here, and do always keep like a towel that is, handy, So as I'm working with the chicken, it's okay to grab this towel, uh, but never use this towel off my hip or whatever on your apron or something like that. Never use that to dry off something that's clean that you're going to consider clean and put in the cabinet or something like that. Use one hand for the spoon, and then one hand for patting the seasoning blend into the chicken. And the seasoning blend, if you'll recall from the other video, is a little bit of cornstarch, maybe about half a cup for this full amount, and then basically 2 ounces of onion powder, garlic powder, uh, red pepper, black pepper. The red pepper is a dried cayenne pepper, by the way. And about 2 ounces also that blended Italian seasoning blend. Then, of course, how well it's getting coated. This is going to be very flavorful. This is going to cling to the chicken that's underneath the breading that we're going to do. 1 hand for the chicken, 1 for the clean spoon. And then those continued ingredients, of course, a little bit of about 3 ounces of cumin powder, ground sage, and curry powder. And also about 2 to 3 ounces of chicken bouillon powder, which also will contain, at least the blend that I'm using, also will contain cornstarch. This is going to be a very flavorful. And the reason why I'm using a lot is that when I go to put this in the when I go to put this into the flour, that flour is going to dilute these flavors a little bit. So I use a lot of seasoning in my chicken. And what's falling on this tray here, if I feel like that I'm going to run short, and I won't, but if I ever felt like I was going to run short of seasoning, I literally could take the 1 or 2 pieces that I didn't get to, and I basically could roll them around on this tray. Now let me show you what it's starting to look like. This is a freshly seasoned bit of chicken. Says all there. And this is one of the first ones that I did, where the moisture is already pulling it and clinging it to. So that's what we want to do. We want to see that. Being careful if I take any extra drippings and just kind of resprinkle it under the chicken, not to hold it near the tray where I have the seasoning powder in, because I don't want to cross-contaminate. If you don't cross-contaminate your seasoning, it will keep for a few days blended like this, and you can use it for other things. The only thing you'd want to be aware of when you're doing this, sometimes you'll hear about such and such got recalled. If you have any recall, any of your dried herbs get recalled, not only can you not use that dried herb that got recalled, but you can't use any of your blends that contained that one particular herb or something that got recalled. So if you have like, oh my God, tarragon or whatever, chives, green chives are a big thing. Every once in a while they'll get recalled because there'll be like some sort of E. coli outbreak or something in the region that it came from, and so will end up recalling that. Over the last 20 or so years, I've noticed that a few times. When that happens, if you have a product that contains that, you can't use that. Yeah. Because it would contaminate the rest of your blend. So you want to be careful. I'm just a real big proponent of caring about how I prepare my food and how I handle it. Food is, I want it to be nourishment. And that's why, and as I got more and more aware, even though I'm frying chicken, you could you could do a seasoning blend like this, leave out the cornstarch, and you could bake this chicken, and it would be a very flavorful baked chicken, and it would have less carbs because we're leaving out the cornstarch. Or you probably would be to this level before you fried it. If you just wanted to bake, if you just wanted to leave the cornstarch in and do as I'm doing it and baking it, it would probably be enough moisture rendered from the chicken itself as it's sitting and everything like that, that it would get a good Maillard effect. Speaking of a Maillard effect, let me tell you what I just remembered. Last night I did a brisket, but I did a very slow braised brisket. I did it just under 300. I did it at 275 with some vegetables and everything, and it got done. However, by the time I was ready to eat, even though it was thoroughly cooked and ready to eat, there was nothing that had browned or caramelized within that pan. And I'm so accustomed to the what's called the Maillard effect, the browning of food, that caramelization that happens. And that only happens between, say, 350 degrees, 375-ish, around there. You know, that you need to get that in order to get the browning that I actually had to take. And Mike was over, you know, because we had moved some furniture around, and I actually had to tell Mike, hey, let me put this back into the oven and get it brown, you know, because I want more of a, and it did. And so we got it a little bit more, you know, well, first off, I took the brisket, because it had been in the oven by that point. I put it in at 2, and it was like close to like 9:30 at night. So it was very well done. The vegetables, the potatoes were quite tender. But even at that lower temperature, I put in carrots, and even though everything was, you know, the onions were fully cooked, but not caramelized, and I didn't account for the fact that if I want a browning, a Maillard effect, and I want it to occur rather naturally, that I need to finish off that brisket. So that's something I even remind myself of lessons all the time that I should have known. Hey, in the last 30 minutes. Crank your heat up a little bit. It's not going to disturb the tenderness of your meat, but will ensure that it gets that nice, well done, caramelized color and flavor that we're looking for. But long story short, damn, that brisket was delicious. Okay, so now you're seeing what we're going on here. And then I've kept one hand clean for handling that spoon. That is also the hand that I'm going to close out this video with. My friends, I love you. Love and light. God bless. See you on the next one.